Welcome to the Terrible Podcast with your hosts from SteelersDepot.com, where you can find all your latest and greatest Steelers news. It's Dave Bryan and Alex Kozora, always lit, talking Steelers. And now, here's Dave and Alex.
Welcome to the Terrible Podcast, another special edition of the Terrible Podcast, Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2019. It is Wednesday, August the 7th, 6:15 out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that means it's 9:15 where my co-host and partner in crime, Alex Kozora, is right outside of Pittsburgh, fresh off of yet another trip to Latrobe. Alex, happy Wednesday. You made it.
Happy Wednesday, made it, and I think we made it through an unscathed injury. Got a real good injury scare today, but I think the Steelers are going to be all right.
Yeah, certainly was one of those hold-your-breath moments, and it's not often that you see Missy Matthews break the injury news like that. When the news when she does, you kind of worry. In the initial, not a sight you want to see. Joe Hayden just carted off, and it's natural to think the worst right at that point. But she quickly followed it up with a tweet to an NFL Network, Judy Battista, I think, talking about how nobody saw the injury happen, and he seemed to get himself over to the sideline, and that maybe the cart was just precautionary, so he didn't have to go up the big hill, yada yada yada. And then not too terribly long after, we had a report from Adam Schefter saying that Hayden, non-serious ankle injury of some sort. Jerry Dulac then posted that Hayden got his foot stepped on. The Steelers released a short statement, I guess about an hour, or about 30 minutes or so after practice ended, stating that Joe Hayden is having his injury evaluated, and that the team will release more information on that after Friday's game. Joe Hayden is back on Twitter apologizing that he couldn't get the rest of his 23 jerseys that he wanted to give out during practice today to the fans. And I don't know. I mean, you hate to draw firm conclusions here, but it sounds like Joe Hayden's going to be fine, and how much time he'll miss is yet to be determined. But I am certainly less worried than I was initially after the injury happened.
I am too, and it obviously was kind of crazy because I don't think anyone saw what happened or knew what was up. I know no one in the crowd did, myself included, until we saw Missy's tweet. But the thing I tweeted out right after it happened, I hadn't seen the play, didn't know severity, no one knew what was going on, was that the cart is used in a lot of situations. If you have any sort of lower body injury, there's no need to make these guys walk either up the stairs or up the hill the whole way back to the facility. It's not a short walk. And so anyone, even if you're cramping, you're not going to make a guy do that. So the cart can be used for those situations. We've seen in the past guys that look like they've had serious injuries. Ramon Foster last year, Robert Golden a couple years ago, be able to have a better prognosis after they get these guys checked out. So things sound good with Hayden. He may not play the entire preseason, That's within the realm of possibility, but I'm okay with that. It seems like the worst has been avoided.
And he wasn't even going to play Friday night,
Sure.
More than likely. So, you're not missing anything when it comes to that. So, yeah, I mean, look, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that this string of what seems like good news continues on there, and, and go from there. Now, might as well take a break and go get yourself a cold drink here, because I've got a long
maybe a stiff drink too.
Yeah, and no bleach, okay? No bleach. Per Alex Kozora so far during practice, Ramon Foster, Marquise Pouncey, Ralph Webb, Vince Williams, Deontay Johnson, Brian Allen, Gerald Hawkins, Cameron Hayward, Justin Lane, Sutton Smith, Bud Dupree, Kevin Colbert, Art Rooney II. Oh, no, I should have.
Dave Bryan.
Dave Bryan. We should have stopped after Bud Dupree there, but I think that's 11 names right there that definitely, did not practice. And I think Sean Davis may have went through individuals and didn't do anything more than there, so that would make 12 that didn't practice. Hayden obviously left practice with an injury. What else did you see?
Yeah, that was the bulk of it. I think Vince
I feel like I'm about to broadcast the crash of the Hindenburg. Oh, my God. Tell me about the carnage.
Yeah, Vince, I think, is close to coming back just based on the work he did today. Had a vest on, just kind of the way he was walking around, kind of signals. He did the same stuff Watt was doing a couple days before he came off PUP. So I think maybe by the next practice after the preseason game, you'll get Vince back. Yeah, Villanueva was limited too, went through individuals, had his right elbow iced up, did not work in team, but I think that's all planned, just some of the things that he goes through for camp. Yeah, Pouncey, didn't see him today. I wonder if he's going back to Pittsburgh to get something checked. So I'm a little nervous about that. Foster, I thought, was rest yesterday, but he's probably dealing with something minor, I'm hoping. Missing 2 days in a row. And with Dupree, I don't know what's going on with him. And so, yeah, and then Cam Hayward still not there with the birth of the child. So Hawkins is another one where it's like, that terrible day yesterday. Did they just finally decide to shut this guy down? I don't know, or give him a day off. But, yeah, the lines were short today. 3 offensive linemen out, 3 cornerbacks out, and then Hayden missing. I mean, it was, a little chaotic today.
And did I even have Artie Burns on my list? I don't think I did. So that would have been
Yeah, because I had 12 that were out.
Okay, yeah. I didn't mention Artie Burns. That was one that I missed there. So that was 12. And then Davis kind of made 12 and a half. And then Hayden. So, yeah.
Villanueva was limited. Yeah, so.
Villanueva's limited all. And Mike Tomlin, per what we expected, didn't really shed too much shed too much information as far as to what guys are and are not going to suit up, other than we know for a fact Ben Roethlisberger's not going to play Friday night. No shocking news there. We now know that Joshua Dobbs will start. No surprise there. Mason Rudolph will play, and they hope to get Devlin Hodges some playing time at the end. If the game situation unfolds the way they hope it will, and the rest of the guys, they'll lead a proverbial light on there. Now, with that said, who are we definitely not going to see? I mean, we're not going to see Cameron Hayward. We're not going to see Pouncey. We're probably not going to see Foster. We're probably not going to see. Help me out.
The whole O-line besides Filer, I think, are going to be held out. You're not going to see Vince. I'm not sure. Maybe that might be the extent of it. Nelson, we'll see. You might see Nelson.
Hayden, obviously.
Juju is not going to play. So yeah, I mean, any guy that's been missing time or any guy that's a key starter is not going to play.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if Hawkins goes or not, because that could really make a difference on who that starting 5 is. But if you have, and I'm writing up an article on that right now about the attrition and Tomlin's comments today on the starting offensive line, and really we usually start with that position group anyway. So I'm guessing that if Hawkins sits out Friday night, it will be Okorafor, Filer, Finney, Johnson, Banner, left to right.
Yeah, sorry. First train of the training camp podcast. So it's not too bad of a streak we had going. Yeah, if Hawkins can't go, then yeah, I agree. That's probably how it's good. That's how it was today, and that's how I would expect it to be for Friday's game.
However, if Hawkins does go, it would be him at left tackle. The interior would stay the same. The only difference would be with Okorafor playing the right tackle spot.
Yep, Banner would get sent back to second team, right tackle.
All right, how should we expect the rest of the offensive line reserves to shake out? There's probably only going to be really 2 groups, right?
Yeah, that's the way it's looking like right now. I can tell you today's second team offensive line was Prince, Hassenauer, Morris, Gray, and Banner.
That sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, it's not a particularly effective law firm, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of reps for the young guys today with all the injuries and guys getting days off. Guys like Prince and Gray and Hassenauer even. I mean, just a lot of work for those names.
All right, and Mike Tomlin spoke about that very subject today. He says we've been kind of going through that process and that natural attrition. That is the process. This process creates opportunities for guys to show versatility, for guys to move up and get reps in more veteran groups, Tomlin said. And guys like Chooks and guys like Zach Banner, Hawkins, they've all had opportunities. And even on the interior, Fred Johnson has moved up here in the last couple of days and really gotten some quality reps because of the opportunities that this process presents. So I'm excited about getting those guys in the stadium and seeing what they can do individually and collectively. And once again, I'm kind of writing that up right now. And look, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see who the starting 5 is and analyze the play of those guys. But I'm most intrigued, I think, by Johnson. Big boy, 6'7", started maybe 30 games or so at University of Florida. I think his first few seasons he was a right tackle, and then I think the last almost 2 full seasons he's been a right guard there. We've talked on and off about him ever since it was announced that he was signing as an undrafted free agent here. Deeper look at his tape makes it look like maybe you got another kind of diamond in the rough Ramon Foster type. I think you somewhat agree with that. What has stuck out the most to you so far about Fred Johnson?
Obviously, the size is impressive. It's rare to see a guy of his stature playing on the interior. Usually those 6'6", 330 guys end up being tackles. I think the strength that he has, I think he plays with a good base. He's not someone that gets bending over too much. I do think he has an issue with guys getting into his chest too easily. I think he's got to work on his initial punch. When it works, it's effective, it's strong, but he does let guys get into his chest too often. That will upright him, but he has the strength to still be able to anchor. So some interesting movement skills for his size, the strength that he plays with, and then honestly level of conditioning too. This guy's seen a lot of snaps. O-line, D-line, they're repping him hard. On the Friday Night Lights practice, they had him go 4 times in a row, and he looked like he got through it pretty good. So I think he's got, for a big guy, for a rookie, undrafted player, he's got to me, Tomlin's never commented on it, but to me, a pretty rare level of conditioning for a guy in his situation, and that's a really good baseline you want to work as an offensive lineman.
Does he look every bit of 6'7", 1"?
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy. They got a lot of big boys. Him, Duran, Gray, Banner. I mean, they are some guys that can move some people.
And now he's got that kind of his tape. He's kind of got that Ramon Foster lumbering movement to him. Do you pick that up as well? Do you see him on the move much?
I have. I think he's more athletic than Foster. I think this is a guy that can function in space. I've compared him to probably closer to Filer than Foster. I know there's probably not a huge difference between those two guys, but I think Filer is a better athlete than Ramon Foster. So that's I compare Gray to Foster, and I compare Johnson to Filer. I mean, there are minute differences, but I think the athleticism, Johnson more resembles Filer than he does Foster.
Physique-wise, how does he? Look, I'm not clowning on Foster. I mean, he's a big guy,
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, he'll tell you that. I hope he would.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. He's not. Sure. He's not Marcus Gilbert chiseled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while since. I mean, obviously his Florida tape. I don't know how much he's changed body-wise, but how does he look? From a physique standpoint.
He looks a little more well put together than, say, Ramon Foster. He's not quite Gilbert. He's probably somewhere in between. But he carries that weight well. I mean, so I think, that probably speaks to that level of conditioning where he's not a sloppy body. The dude looks in shape, and when I see him out there, it looks like his conditioning is pretty high.
Maybe that was the word I was looking with Foster. I mean, I probably wouldn't tell Foster to his face he looks kind of sloppy. But look, make no mistake about it. I mean, Foster is, and we've said this for years, one of the most consistent linemen that the Steelers have.
Mm-hmm.
How great would it? Go ahead.
I was gonna say that size is partially what makes him such an effective pass protector, because he's such a big guy they just can't get around him.
Yeah, you can't go through him, so you have to try to go around him. How nice would it be for them to steal one in Johnson?
That'd be great. I mean, they're good at it. Someone made a comment the other day. I forget who it was. We talked about the Steelers being great at finding receivers. Talk about a team that's great at finding linemen and how rare it is to find. Everyone can find receivers in the NFL. The college game provides a boatload of them. Find linemen from the college game, that's a much tougher challenge. So you get those guys with the starting 5 you have now, including Ramon Foster. Ramon Foster's been such an excellent player. So happy to have him on the team, returning to this team. You have Villanueva. You had Chris Hubbard. I mean, you have Fred Johnson, B.J. Finney. I mean, the list goes on. And it's been the investment this team's put into the coaching staff and the draft picks. But it's also just, finding the right talent as well. And they do better job than maybe anybody in the league finding offensive line talent.
All right, anybody else of that group that you expect to play Friday night? That probably Fred Johnson's 1A for you. I mean, Who would be 1B?
It's a good question. I think Banner. I mean, just seeing him in the game, his size is such just a physically imposing force in practice that I think some of these guys just don't know what to do with it. But I want to see that at play speed and see how that athleticism still translates over. If he can still seal the edge and ride guys upfield with the size and length that he has, it's obviously not he's going to do it because of his great lateral mobility, but just the physical innate tools that he has. So I'm curious to see that and where he's at year 2 in the system, more comfortable with his new home in Pittsburgh. Remember, he was signed as a mid-camp ad right around this time last year. So Zach Banner would probably be 1B for me.
All right. Moving on to the quarterbacks today.
I know we've talked about Devlin Hodges a lot and praised him, but I'm going to praise him some more. I thought today was honestly maybe his best day as a Steeler. And that's not saying the other ones were bad. They've been some really good days. But I just thought the long ball, the accuracy, the touch that he showed, decision-making, all that was kind of put together for Devlin Hodges today. So I know he's getting a lot of publicity right now. He's the flavor of the month, and I get that. I'm still not seeing a path to a 53-man roster spot, but just judging him without worrying about chances in future, just looking at him today, looking at him through the first 11 practices, the dude's done well. I thought today was an excellent day for Devlin Hodges.
Yeah, and it sounds like, and Tomlin said they're going to try to get him some time, barring game circumstances changing. I think the only if for some reason they don't get Rudolph the amount of snaps that they want to get him, that would probably, or get in a 2-minute setting at the end or something like that, and wanting to see Rudolph in that situation there.
The one thing, real quick, the one thing with Hodges is that throwing motions are a little elongated, so I do worry about these edge rushers coming in, smacking the football out. It's a little more of a wind-up than, say, a Josh Dobbs or really any other quarterback on this roster. So just one minor thing with Devlin Hodges on the concern column.
Not as defined as a Byron Leftwich, though, right?
No, it's not. I mean, Byron, you talk about getting a cold drink of water. Yeah, you get a cold drink of water. Well, Leftwich winded up for a throw. But it's a little more pronounced than Josh Dobbs, who has a very compact throwing motion.
Where have you seen the growth, if any, in Dobbs and Rudolph?
Well, I mean, I'm looking for consistency with those guys. I mean, I've seen Dobbs grow from the start of this camp, throughout camp. I think he's mentally tough, and I think he's able to iron things out. With Rudolph, I think it's just making some better decisions, not forcing the ball quite as much, being able to throw more accurately in tight windows. I haven't taken a big step back to look at last year compared to this year. I'm just looking at where these guys need to improve. And while they both have flashed and they both have struggled, you're just trying to find some consistency there. So I think this one's going to be battled the whole way down to the preseason finale against Carolina, as it often has been for Josh Dobbs.
Are you seeing less or more than what you thought you'd see ahead of camp out of those two?
Sure. Less, honestly. I was hoping for more even play. They haven't been terrible, but they haven't been great. They both have some big issues to work on, and I think they're still a ways away from where they want and they need to be. So short answer is less than what I hoped for.
All right, that's a little bit discouraging, but we got a long way to go here. We'll get them inside the stadium and go from there. All right, running back.
Just bouncing off that point on the quarterback really quickly. The good thing is, because I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, because these guys have had their moments. I think Dobbs has done well in stadiums, is that the fact that they're both in that same boat, talking Dobbs and Rudolph, that they're going to push each other. And Hodges is going to help push that group too. So everyone's going to make each other better, and they're all going to rise to the challenge, knowing that no one's comfortable, no one's job should feel safe. So just one minor point there that I think will help elevate the entire group. With running backs, I don't have a whole lot today. Not a lot in the run session. Malik Williams, though, again, continues to pop for me. Had maybe one of the plays of the day. It was just an 8-yard gain, but play blown up in the backfield. Here comes big D tackle Winston Craig in for a loss. Another defender came in. Malik Williams jump cut to the right, take off on the right sideline, turned a loss of 2 into an 8-yard play. So I've been impressed with Williams as a back. Everything else, as I've said before, is a little questionable with him. Hope Ralph Webb gets healthy. I think his numbers have been good. I think he's looked good as a runner, kind of a similar boat as Malik Williams, maybe not quite as laterally agile as Williams is. I saw him on the cooler today. Don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he can play for Friday. It looks very much up in the air, unfortunately.
All right, so what realistically, I mean, we're not going to see any James Conner, Friday night. We'll probably see I don't know how much Jalen Samuels we'll see. We'll obviously see a lot of Benny Snell. What else? I mean, Webb probably not going to play.
Yeah, I think you'll see Samuels for the first 2 or 3 drives. Still a second-year player. Still a lot you want to see with him. He's going to be pretty active in the offense where he lines up and stuff, so I think you want to get a good feel for that. You should see the bulk of it second, third quarter with Benny Snell, get a super long look at him, and then probably finish it up with Malik Williams, Trey Edmonds, and Trayvon McMillan. For me, I'd have Malik Williams be the first guy off the bench. Edmonds' impact could really come on special teams as the personal protector and a coverage guy. That's kind of his role he had last year, so that's where he's going to probably be focusing on just as much as it will be on running back, whereas Williams is someone that's probably going to have to make this team, or the practice squad, I should say, as a pure running back, because I don't know how much special teams value he's going to offer.
All right, what's going on with tight ends?
Really quiet day to day. Don't really have any notes. Vance caught a touchdown. today. I just like the health of the group. For tight ends, those guys get beat up a lot. No one's missing a lot of time. Trevor Wood came back today. Grimble didn't miss a practice. Scotty only missed that one practice. He was back in pads today. First guy on the jugs machine after practice. So I don't have a whole lot of updates, but I just think that they're a group that's been available. And for a lot of young guys, that's a pretty important trait.
Rank them as far as quality after McDonald and Grimble.
It's like that eye test where you have 1 and 2 and they're both pretty blurry and you got to figure out which one doesn't give you the big glasses. I would say Scotty 3, and then the rest, I mean, pick them. Gentry 4, Raider 5, Wood 6. I mean, by that point, it's all kind of one and the same.
All right, wide receiver, no Deontay Johnson again. That sure is discouraging. We'll have to see if that groin can get healed within the next couple of days here. Dante Moncrief back practicing. Still favoring a hand?
Nope, he's catching it with both. So he's in team, so he should be okay.
You think we'll see much of him?
Nah, I wouldn't play him. Ben's not playing. What's the point of Moncrief getting those reps then? Maybe in the second game, but I would sit Moncrief out.
All right, what's going on with Switzer and Eli there? Are they moving them around much at all? Who's if that were a battle, who's winning it?
I'd say maybe Eli. I think it's still open. Obviously, special teams is going to have a lot of impact. What Deontay Spencer does could have a direct impact on Switzer's role. But there have been slot guys. They haven't really played on the outside, and that's not a surprise. We know that while Switzer maybe could play the X in a pinch, did a tiny bit last year, they're both going to be slot guys.
Spencer going to be, you already called the shot on that one. Hopefully he can stay healthy a few more days. I really look forward to watching him go. Any of those couple returning guys and like Griffey and Tevin.
Yeah, the two guys I wanted to mention today was Tevin Jones, who's gotten a lot of work with the first team, even over James Washington in some regard. And I think that's just part of the rotation with receivers. I don't really see that as a concern, but just as a product of Tevin Jones, who had a super quiet start to camp, really pick up. That's reflected in my notes and the stats that we keep. So I think he's just getting rewarded for making some tough, combative catches downfield and stretching the field vertically. Then Johnny Holton showed up in a big way today.
Oh,
boy,
yeah.
He needed a good practice today. He had 2 long ball completions, one a 65-yard touchdown from Hodges. The next one was a 47-yard completion, I think, running a post to beat Hilton, thrown by Devlin Hodges. So that's a guy that we knew had the speed, ability to take the top off of defenses, and he's been, hamstrung by a hamstring injury in camp, and I think now he's kind of fully gotten past that, and he's opening up with that speed. So a much-needed day for Johnny Holton on a day where a lot of receivers were held out.
Can he open that thing up now?
Yeah, he can run. I mean, he's not, a Deontay Spencer where he's a super fast, short stride, choppy kind of guy, but he's a long strider that eats up grass, eats up cushion, and can make plays over the top. So he looks really healthy right now.
Going to get a lot of burn then as the Z then.
Yeah, and then as a gunner, you talked to me yesterday about gunners, and I think Holton's going to be a candidate for that. He did that in Oakland, somewhere where he should excel with that kind of size, speed, athletic profile that he has. And then real quick with Juju, I listened to the Michael Irvin interview yesterday, and they were on the jugs machine. They were having some fun with that, and Juju said, I catch 300 balls after practice. And I kind of honestly rolled my eyes because AB didn't even catch 300 balls on the jugs machine last year. So I wanted to count how many passes he caught on the jugs machine, and he was not lying. He caught 370 today, about 20 minutes after practice, the last guy on the jugs machine. So kudos to him. I mean, I'm going to maybe give some credit to AB for showing that work ethic, but kudos to Juju for taking the torch and applying himself. And although he's the clear number one and he doesn't have to put in that work, 370 that blew my mind.
You counted all of them?
All 386 thrown to, dropped 16. Most of them were one-handed catches. So, yep, counted them because I don't want to talk to a woman in my life, I guess is my goal. I don't know. I wanted to know. I wanted to know if he really caught 300 and the dude really caught 400.
You nerd.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guilty as charged. I saw those comments. I'm going to respond to him on Twitter. But hey, I want to know.
Hey, I don't blame you. I would do the same thing, and my problem is I'd lose count. So
I counted out loud to myself like an insane person. They probably didn't know what I was doing, but just to help keep track of it.
You know what we need to do? You need to put in a Steelers Depot requisition form on one of those counters. click counters.
That's a good idea.
For next year. We're over budget this year.
We're over budget. Yeah, I'll make chicken. Move it all
Yeah,
chicken.
absolutely. Okay. What else was going to add to that? Oh, Joe. We talked about this kind of early on during the process and all. I think even before training camp. If there's two guys that you expect to be comfortable in this offense during the preseason, it's Griffey and Jones. Second, both of them spent a year on the practice squad. They both were there in preseason last year. The same backup quarterbacks, sans Hodges, of course, are there. So, in a middle of the game type situation here, you would think that those guys will be able to have a chance to make some plays.
It's a great point. I hadn't even considered that, especially with the continuity at quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, Griffey's been quieter. He's come up a little bit than Tevin Jones, and Jones has really kind of come on scene the last 4 or 5 practices. But, yeah, I mean, these guys got to make plays, and they got to make plays in the coverage game, too. It's partially why they got on this team, because of their coverage ability. That's where they have special teams value. They're not return guys, but they're going to be punt and really probably more kick coverage guys, so they got to make some plays there.
One of those two guys is going to score a touchdown Friday night. I'm going to go with Tevin Jones.
You think?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say he scores against KC because he was a Chief. It might be a little revenge factor. You cut me and I'm going to score on you kind of thing.
All right. We got that covered. Anything, what's going on our defensive line?
Isaiah Buggs, another nice day. Run defense. Got his hands up to bat down. A pass of Rudolph's today. One possible depth chart change, and I know that they rotate guys. It doesn't always mean everything, but I've seen you can kind of get a sense of when things change. Casey Sales might have be running ahead of Levon Hooks here. Got second team reps at lefty end over Hooks, who was healthy, did practice today. So kind of similar guys. Sales with a little different body type, a little slimmer, but guys that are stout against the run, and Sales might be getting the extra look over Hooks right now.
Interesting.
Hooks time could be up here.
Yeah, that guy I thought, look, he flashed a few times during the preseason last year. He spent the year on the practice squad, Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with the rotation and how he plays Friday night there. All right, outside linebacker. I mean, it's going to be it's looking like there's only going to be about 4 or 5 of them. Heck, it might even only be 4 of them, depending on what happens to Sutton Smith and if he can play. I mean, we might be seeing Chicolo and Ola and JT Jones and Tuzar Skipper, and that's about it.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot to note today with those guys, with all the guys injured. Watt had some good battles with Banner. First time I've seen Banner get walked back on a bull rush. Watt got him on the first rep of O-line, D-line, but Banner won the other 3 matchups. Yeah, not a whole lot today. I mean, similar stuff. Ola will flash. JT's athletic. Tuzar's a power guy. Sutton Smith sitting out. So we've talked about that group a lot. I don't have a whole lot additional to add for today.
Were you surprised that Mike Tomlin this morning almost took a little bit of the pressure off Ola?
Yeah, his response was a little interesting because, then Tomlin did follow it up and say, well, he's been in the system for a year and there's a lot of valuable reps just being here. And he did play the entire preseason last year. It's not like he got hurt in the first preseason game. The dude got hurt at the very end of the finale. But I understand the point he's trying to make is that he doesn't have the reps of being in practice for an entire year, getting some game work. Dude played 9 defensive snaps last year. So I understand. I don't know if it was taking the pressure off. I think the pressure's on. I think Ola would be the first to recognize that. But just, there's maybe a differing point of view.
And for those that missed the Tomlin press conference, in a nutshell, Mike Tomlin was asked about, second-year player in Ola and, expecting to see him perform like a second-year player, and does he consider him that? And Tomlin basically said, no, I don't consider him that because – he didn't play last year, and then obviously missed all that time. I don't even think he resumed practicing until after Thanksgiving or right there about Thanksgiving. Obviously couldn't practice during the season while on IR. Got activated, I think, the 1st or 2nd of December. He dressed I don't think he dressed for all 5 games, but he was on the roster for the final 5 games, and he played all of a total of 9 defensive snaps, 0 special team snaps. I don't care what Tomlin says. This is a guy that I'm expecting to have a good game because, and not that it matters, it doesn't sound like Donovan Smith from the Buccaneers is going to play at left tackle. I think he's got something. He's dealing with an Achilles strain or something along those lines. And even if he did, I mean, I'm not a guy that I comes to mind as being a shutdown left tackle, but those furniture movers that are going to play, and I tried to search to see who that might be, and I'm not even sure the Buccaneers might know right now who might start at left tackle. But needless to say, Ola should have a nice game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, if he doesn't have a nice game, it's going to be a disappointment. What you see in the preseason or in camp needs to translate to the preseason. It did last year. Dude's got to do it again. I think he will, but, we'll have to wait and see.
TJ Watt moving okay?
Yeah, he looks fine. I think maybe a little rust yesterday, but today looks good. Not going to play Friday. Shouldn't play Friday. I probably wouldn't play him until the third game. Get him out preseason healthy. So, yeah, it'll be Ola and Chick to start with probably Tuzar and JT as a second team, especially if, as you said, Sutton Smith can't go.
All right, inside linebacker. Did Ben pick on the new guy today?
What's that? Did Ben?
Did Ben pick on the new guy today? Didn't he throw like a couple straight passes, or didn't he go right at Bush a couple of times?
Oh, yeah, with Devin Bush and 7 shots. Yeah, there were 2 of them. The first was a stick route that Juju got some space on to win, and then the second one, I swear it went right through Bush's hands and the McDonald's hands. They were firing some hot shots Bush's way today. But, yeah, a good day for those guys, for Bush. Barron's been in pads. Spillane takes good angles to the football. I think he does a nice job working inside out. A good tackler. I don't have a whole lot with that group. They didn't do the coverage drills today. They were doing some other run blocking stuff, so I don't chart those the way that I do on normal practice. So more of the same, but yeah, I think Bush is playing well.
All right. What's going on? I mean, not many bodies to report on as far as the secondary goes.
Yeah, corner pretty light. Ponder even got put in the team today because I think they just needed the bodies. Mike Hilton's run defense looks solid. At safety, though, I do have one note there and this is one that surprised the heck out of me. I mean, we'll see how much it means. PJ Locke running first team today over Cameron Kelly opposite Terrell Edmonds. So riddle me that one. I don't know where that came from, but good for him getting a long look and a lot of reps today.
Yeah, going to be interesting. Look, I mean, that Cameron Kelly's going to be on my however many players to watch. I mean, the way I'm going right now, that list might be 47.
I'm just trying. Why do they have Locke over Kelly today? Like, I don't know what happened. I mean, Kelly played well, had a pick today and 7 shots. I mean, I don't know if it's just they're trying to get in Kelly's head, see how he responds or what, but that's interesting.
I mean, you don't see an injury, and he's making plays, right?
Kelly, yeah, he did had a pick 6 today. So, and then Marcus Allen. I mean, I had a good conversation with Nick on Twitter yesterday, just talking about who they might keep, and I guess it's possible you want to at least mention, could Marcus Allen lose out on a roster spot? It's been pretty quiet for him. He's not been running super high in the depth chart. You got the other good safety competition. They could, of course, bring somebody in. That seems like a very distinct possibility. Could Marcus Allen be that surprise cut? I mean, we'll see. Long ways to go, but I'm not gonna rule it out.
He's definitely not gonna be that dime backer, is he?
Not looking like it. I mean, Sutton's been the guy. I guess the question would be, is he the next man up? Because if it's an injury at cornerback and if Sutton has to come in, especially to Hilton, then Allen has to be your dime guy. So, I mean, maybe, but I'm just, I think Allen's got to definitely work for his roster spot this year.
And that's going to mean you better stick out on special teams.
Yeah, this dude barely played. He's like Ola. I mean, the dude didn't play last year. I mean, he was healthy throughout the entire year, but he saw 30 snaps total, I think, 17 on defense, 13 on special teams. So there's a lot to learn about Marcus Allen this preseason.
All right, based on what you know, how's the cornerback rotation going to play out, do you think, Friday night?
For Friday, I know we talked about this yesterday. I doubt Artie's going to go. So left, I don't even know who's their Lane. That Lane's hurt. I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, Cam Sutton and Brian Allen. I mean, Allen was hurt today. I'm running out of names. I mean, hopefully Allen can play. I mean, if Allen's available, he's going to probably be your first team right corner. Sutton may be left corner, kick inside of the slot. I mean, I just going to depend on the health of the group. It's going to be, I mean, buckle up if you're Brian Allen, you're Cam Sutton, you're Ponder. There's a lot of snaps coming your way.
There's going to be a lot of miscommunication going on.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Askew Henry's going to play in the nickel. Yeah, I haven't even thought about it, but just hopefully a guy like Lane. I mean, man, if Lane misses, what a great opportunity this would be for him to play some serious, a half a snaps would be huge for him. A raw guy needs this experience, needs to make some mistakes. I'm really fingers crossed this guy can suit up.
Both third rounders, Deontay Johnson and Justin Lane might open the preseason in street clothes.
And yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. Then you got Sutton Smith might miss. I mean, I don't think anything's major. I mean, I don't want to be, like I said, too doom and gloom, but just a chance for valuable reps lost. Because we know Lane's not playing much in the season. If he does, something goes wrong. So this is a chance to learn. And be a missed opportunity for sure.
All right, specialist Boswell staying on the money, isn't he?
He's 6 for 6, and Matthew Wright, interesting story, but I'm going to compare him, unfortunately, to Matt McCrane. Might be an accurate kicker, but that leg is not there. 2 misses today from wherever they kicked from 51, I think. One was short, one was wide left by just a little bit. The leg just isn't there for him. You can't make it to Latrobe in August. You're not making it in a stadium in December against Baltimore. So it's Boswell versus the rest of the league. That's how it's going to go.
All right, and is Berryman going to challenge Jordan Berry at all?
He's got a shot, got a big leg, but we know how the Steelers value punters. It's about directional.
Directional kick.
Yeah, and that's Danny Smith's tramp stamp, directional punting in hang time.
I just got a bad visual there.
That's what
do you have a Danny Smith tramp? I got to ask the question. Do you have a Danny Smith tramp stamp?
I plead the fifth on that one, but yeah, it'll be a battle. Barry's definitely got the hang time placement advantage, the known guy, but I don't want to rule Berryman. I think Berryman, because Berryman has a couple of 60-yard punts this camp, so he might have a punt in the preseason where it goes 60, 65 yards, and everyone's going to be on Twitter going, keep Berryman, but understand how the Steelers, what their philosophy is and how that doesn't always mesh perfectly with Berryman. But I think he's a good punter that might be a Matt Weil when he gets picked up by somebody else. But also I think that he can push Berry as well. I'm not going to close the book on that competition.
And also remember that punting it 60 yards from the opposition's 45-yard line usually does you no good.
Yeah, no touchbacks. Tomlin, I know for a fact, hates touchbacks, so better avoid those.
And Mike Tomlin said this morning during his press conference that the current plan is to rotate kickers, and I'm assuming punters, to every other kick. So we'll see. We'll see how that ultimately goes Friday night as well too.
And return game undecided. Switzer, I wonder if Switzer's going to start. I'd probably start him at least one each, one kick, one punt, and then rotate in Spencer.
I don't. I know what he can do.
No. I like to give him some time. Second year, just kind of a little more comfort, see how that looks. I mean, the kick return game was poor last year. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get Spencer a look, though. He needs to look. Want to make the team, you got to give him the chance.
I mean, assuming Deontay Johnson doesn't go, I'd let Deontay Spencer get back there every damn last single one of them.
All right. Fair enough. We'll see.
All right. You and I will go a little bit more in depth or talk a little bit more about the upcoming preseason game during Friday's podcast. The Steelers are obviously closed. I think just a walkthrough on Thursday, then obviously the game on Friday. They're off on Saturday, so you won't be back out to Latrobe, I don't guess, until Sunday. Tell the fine people about Lynn Test and the folks at Touring Plans who sponsor us.
Yeah, touringplans.com, been a long-time sponsor. You can see a link to their website at the top of our training camp diary each day. But if you're planning a trip to Disney this winter, as I'm sure a lot of families are, first trip to Disney, I think I got a buddy of mine that's got a kid that's going to go to Disney for the first time this year. So those are the guys you want to talk to. They're going to help you budget it out, plan your schedule, avoid any of the pitfalls, so you can just focus on a good vacation. So hit up touringplans.com, and special thanks to Len Testa for always reaching out, being a good liaison, and I think it's been a good relationship with us and them.
And make sure you hit SteelersDepot.com for all your latest Steelers news and articles, and Alex's latest training camp diary report from Wednesday is now up there as well too. Alex, fine job as usual, brother. You don't miss a beat. Your consistency is amazing when it comes to this type stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at Steelers Depot. Follow Alex on Twitter at Alex_Kozora. Follow the show at Terrible Podcast. Email the show, theterriblepodcast@gmail.com. We got a few of those in the hopper that we're going to hit during the Friday show as well too. We ought to have a little bit of fun on that show there, a little bit of time to maybe that one will go 90 minutes or more on that show as well too. Big push this time of year for donations to help the cause here. So if you feel up to it, look, $25 from everyone of you that listens once a year. I don't think it's too much to ask, all that you get with the site and the podcast. And look, you can even go and go to SteelersDepot.com, hit the donate button, upright navigational bar, and donate that way. Or if you want to donate the $25 and get an ad-free version of the site as part of the reward there, go to SteelersDepot.com and hit the ad-free button, upright navigational bar as well too. We got quite a few people that have taken advantage of that opportunity as well too. Alex, you and I will be back together on Friday. Keep on keeping on. And as always, thanks for listening to the Terrible Podcast with Dave and Alex.